Welcome back to the Now What podcast, man. I am on my world tour in LA, and I got my favorite producer in the house, man. This man has, but let me give you a little background. This man has produced records for your biggest artists and your favorite artists, man. From Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, Snoop, Drake, Kendrick, Eminem, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, Kanye West, Beyonce. Jesus Christ, man.
It sound hard when you say it. Like it's like, okay, I'm really doing something.
Man, I was just saying, I was reading the credits, man. That's crazy. This is a man, Chauncey Hollis, aka Hit Boy, man.
What's good
Welcome
with it, bro?
To the podcast,
Appreciate you having me, bro.
How you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. Happy to be fucking with you right now.
No
bro.
doubt, man. No doubt, man. So, for those that don't know, I just gave the credit to this man. I think you sell yourself short, or you just living in the moment, or you don't understand like how dope you are.
I mean, a lot of people do say that, but I guess I am just living in the moment. I'm always kind of pushing myself like for what's the next thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It probably just stemmed from like just seeing how the game could go, you know what I'm saying? Like being in the game, seeing my uncle in the game early, you know what I'm saying? Like his rise and just like, you know, him having to step out of the industry for a minute, all type of little just nuances.
So who's your uncle?
My uncle is Rodney B from Troop. Actually, I'm with his son right now. My bro, who is also a producer now, JB, you feel me? He been studying under me, so he getting good real fast.
Sure, well, you the best one to have somebody on your wing, man. So how did you start wanting to get into music? Because like when I remember, you know, when I'm growing up, everybody wants to do music, but I mean, I don't even know the first step of even how to start. Like, so
me
how
either.
did you start?
Still, I mean, feel me?
Yeah, right.
Nah, but on God though, like just seeing my uncle, you know what I'm saying? That was the first real just like introduction to it, whether it was him at video shoots, him in the studio, whatever the case was, just always doing something music related. But also, you know, he was involved in other, you know, projects and shit, and would play other people's music, and that's when I got put on the NWA and just like all this West Coast rap, Ice Cube and shit like that. So
you grew up in Fontana? Was it Fontana?
I grew up in Pasadena. You know what I'm saying? I actually grew up in a lot of places in LA. I moved around a lot, you know what I'm saying? So I got to touch on different areas of California. So, but just like, you know, later in my teen years, I was in the Inland Empire, like San Bernardino, Rialto, Fontana. I went and bought my mama a house in Rancho, where she's out there in Rancho now. So, you know, it's a lot of influence from everywhere in Cali.
Right. So you're moving around a lot, and you see your uncle doing this thing, and if I don't know if y'all caught it, but it was the R&B group Troop.
Exactly.
Right? And so you're seeing how he moves, and so that was your first step into wanting to be in the music. So how did you first start? Say, let me try this out.
Literally, I was probably like 13 years old and just picked up a pad and started writing. That was the first thing I did before I even thought I could make beats. I was just writing for a couple years, and then met this kid who had a setup, you know what I'm saying? And he was making full albums out of his mom's crib, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, went and got the same setup for myself. It's this kid named Tony. Shout
out to Tony, man.
Right, he was in Rialto in the Meadowlands, and we used to be just going in. Me, him, and the homie Chili Chill back in the day, just working on hella music.
You still in contact with Tony?
No, I'm not in contact with Tony no more.
Gonna have a fallout or nothing?
Nah, we good.
Yeah,
we good.
That's dope, just hearing the story about how somebody started.
Well, I mean, it get deep, you feel me? I don't want to go into all that. That was so long ago.
Yeah, we won't put nobody on. Yeah,
but you feel me?
That's kind of party, man.
You know,
yeah,
for sure.
No, for sure. So you go from making beats out the basement to like Grammys and platinum records.
Yeah, so I mean, after I started messing with the beats, and it was just straight a hobby at first. Like I still remember making my first beat, and it was a joke to me. You know what I'm saying?
You
like,
have it?
Hell no, definitely. Because I mean, it was on Tony's setup. This is before I even got my setup.
Okay.
So anyway, I don't know. I guess we was working for a couple more years, and then, you know, little things happen, whatever the case. And I'm just like, I'm about to really just scale back and go crazy with the beats. And from like, you know, 16, 17 on, that's when I started the whole Hit Boys movement. But it was two of us. It was like, it wasn't just Hit Boy. It was like Hit Boys. Yeah. So and the kid I was making beats with was just super talented, like, because he came up in the church playing keys or whatever the case was, and he was just dumb nice. he ended up signing with some people I introduced him to, whatever the case is. And so when we split up, I just like took the S off the name and kept Hit Boy. So yeah, that's kind of how that came about. Nah, not at all, not at all, man.
So that's crazy, man. You start out just making it out of beats out of the basement, and then how did you get your first introduction into the industry?
My first real intro to the game. It's funny, the room we in right now. The night I got quote unquote discovered by Polo the Don on MySpace, I was 19 years old.
MySpace, damn.
He had shot me the address to go meet him at Record Plant, and then it was like 3 a.m. We stayed over there. I met so many artists in like a matter of 2-3 hours. Then we drove over to this literally this studio we in right now.
This studio right here is where you got your first introduction to the industry.
Exactly.
That's great. I wasn't playing, by the way.
Exactly. Polo was in here mixing some records, probably for Ferg. He was mixing some Fergie records and just doing a bunch of stuff at that time. It's like 06. Right. I'm like 19. I'm like, we own. I had Chili Chill with me from Surf Club, so we came out here and we literally fell asleep on these couches while niggas was working.
They had the same couches back then?
Probably.
I need to update. That's wild. So what was the transition like actually getting, put on? Because like it's crazy that your whole career, Jim, started off of a DM from Polo the Don.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fucking wild. So like how was that transition from just kind of doing it for fun, and then when for sure, okay, this is my career path now?
I mean, I always looked at it like that, even, before I got on, because I was already making my moves. I was making my little $1,000 plays here, you feel me, 18 years old, just like trying to do as many of them plays as I could. And I knew something was gonna come along. So when the Polo situation came along, like I went full, fledged with it. Like he was based in Atlanta, so I literally moved to Atlanta. Me and the homie Chasing Cash, we started Surf Club and all that shit together. So we went and signed his own for, moved to Atlanta, and just from there it was just work every day and just see how the shit pan out. And that's kind of the same formula I run on now. Like I just kind of, all my biggest or best records that people love is my beats that I just was organically creating and shit. So
that's so wild, man. So like that mindset, it's like I always try to tell people about is that you didn't see another way. Like there was no
plan B.
There was no plan B.
Definite no plan B, bro.
So so take me through that mindset of like, because I know through my journey I definitely heard that you need a backup plan.
Yeah.
And in my mind I'm like, fuck that. This is how I'm gonna make it. So what was that mindset like? Like take me through that process, that mental process of constantly trying to convince other people or convince yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always a thing of convincing yourself, just still to this day, just daily, just that, you just got to stay on course. But, connecting with certain people that might not, might share the vision for a second, but then you falter with them, whatever the case is, you just go off your paths. But it's just like, I kind of just stick to my guns, man. Like no matter what, it's been people that's come and gone. It's been a lot of situations like in and out. So it's like I just figure just stick to the creativity, stick to the love of the game, which is this shit dope or not? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, like, I mean, a lot of my beats that I did, have that became hits or whatever, like, them beats I did have for a while and I sent to people and they got denied or whatever the case was. Like, I could have just threw them to the corner and just gave up on them, but some of them beats end up being, like, real smashes for people. So it's just timing and just just staying locked in.
So just that confidence in yourself is the key, man. Because I was try to tell young cats, man, when I speak to kids and stuff, it's looking back, I probably should have had a plan B, but like now when you speak to kids, because there's so much, like the percentages are definitely, the odds are definitely stacked against like kids and people just coming up. Yeah. And so you want to have a plan B, but that mentality of it's going to work or it's not going to work still has to like reside in you, man. What is your most like proud accomplishment thus far? Because like you're decorated, man. Like you are decorated. Like you have worked with the best of the best, and you are my favorite producer. I always tell you that. I don't think you don't think you believe me, my dude, but like you are. So like, what's your most proud accomplishment?
Man, it's been a lot, but I mean, definitely still, I feel like just the whole movement of what Niggas in Paris was. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that proved to me, like, this is beyond real, like, now, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, like, not just, like, from an artistic standpoint, just because I listen to so much Jay-Z, so much Kanye coming up, and I held them so high, so it's, like, they telling me, like, oh, this, like, this pretty much our biggest song that we, you know, individually have ever done.
That's
so
crazy.
For them both to look at me in the face and say that, it's like, you know, it's a responsibility to just keep growing and just.
It was Jay-Z's first #1 hit, wasn't it?
I don't know the statistics of it all, but
I think it was. I could be wrong, but I think
definitely know. You know, they both showed me big love on that record. So
yeah. So for people that don't know, that are living under rocks, man. So Niggas in Paris was a single off of Watch the Throne album with Jay-Z and Kanye West, and it was produced by yours truly, man. So that shit was crazy to me because I didn't know how much people loved that song until I went to the concert, because I was fucking with it.
Exactly.
In Paris, so I went to the Watch the Throne concert, and I always fucked with the song. I loved the song, but then I went to the concert and they played that shit 11 times in a row, and like the whole crowd was going crazy every single time, and I'm sitting here like, okay, like this is wild, and like I know you, so it was weird for me because it's like when you know people and you see people putting out, it's probably, you probably felt the same thing. Like if you saw me getting off in a game or something like that, you saw me doing my things, it's probably like, damn, I know dude, homie, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. And it's just like the sense of like you see the backstory of the success, man. It's just like it was a dope moment for me, man. I know sometimes I'll hit you like if I'm out and about. Like I remember I was in New York and they were playing a song of yours, and I just put a little video up and I said, man, they playing you in New York though. That's just, it's always cold to me, man. Cause
no, same here, man. Like just like even being in the streets, like I just got back from New York and just like seeing random people come up to you and, you know, tell you that you inspired them and shit like that. That's another piece of what keep me going and just like, okay, I'm on the right path for sure.
All right. So that's another thing I wanted to hit on, man, was like music is different, like with like the fame wise. So like I was quote unquote famous for football, right? And so that was cool because, you know, people like sports, but music is different because like when they fall in love with somebody, they fall in love with somebody. It's not, they didn't fall in love with me as a human, they fell in love with the things that I did, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like music is so personable that people end up falling in love with artists, man. So like what is it like knowing that you're touching people in a real thing? Because I remember you made a song that you still haven't put out, that you let me listen to, and it like for probably a month, dog. Like it just hit me. I don't know if I won't say.
What song you talking about?
Know Your God.
Okay, for sure. That
was one of my like I was going through a real tough time in my life, and like that song it just hit me like I remember listening to Tupac, and like when I was young going through my hardships, that's like his music helped me get through it, and that song that you made, dog, helped me get through a real tough time in my life. And like, so what is that like? Like, because like I could score a touchdown and, you know, a whole bunch of drunk people in the stands, like they gonna forget about it. It was a cool game or whatever. But like, you make things that can live forever. What is that like? They do live forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing feeling to be able to just wake up and just create something out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? Something that didn't exist before that can literally penetrate the soul of somebody and just whether it's a melody from the beat, whether it's a melody from the song, whatever the case is, people like might not ever forget it. You know what I'm saying? Like people will probably forever remember Ball So Hard or Ain't Nobody Fucking With My Click, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just for that to really get embedded for somebody and you made that out of thin air. I think that's a beautiful thing.
So where do you draw your music inspiration from?
Life. I feel like every beat I make, every bar I write down is just like it's how I'm feeling at the time. Literally, like I can't really just say shit just to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like everything got to have a meaning to it, and really you got to feel it.
So what are you more passionate? Because I know you we talk about your production, but you're a writer too, and that's like one of the like I said, the song that you made that touched me so much. It was the words that you said. The beat was. It was cold too. But it was the words is what you were saying that was touching me so much. So, what as a writer, what's the difference between being noticed for having notoriety for a producer and for a writer?
I mean, I feel like the connectability. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I feel like. I've been dropping these projects with the homie Dom Kennedy, but you know what I'm saying, going by $500,000, and just seeing the difference in when I was first dropping my records on SoundCloud or whatever the case is, but just being out and seeing the love and seeing people be like, yo, I ain't really know you was going in like that. You know what I'm saying? But this is the first time I'm really formulating something that people can latch on to, and it has a linear sort of story to it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my beats it's no linear story. It's no certain groove or certain tempo that can connect you to be like, oh, that's Hit Boy. So it might be songs you hearing on the radio. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know I did. Like I got literally family members who will be like, yo, I had no idea you did this song. I'm like, nigga, they say my name at the beginning. Like, how don't you know? But it's like people ain't listening as tough as you think they are. It's more about the vibe, and that's why I feel like we in the era that we in. To segue to that, just like it's about the feeling, and it's about, you know, connecting with them fans. And if you giving them a certain feeling, whether it's the Instagram videos you posting, Snap videos, like you know what I'm saying, like Khaled, like he literally talking about everyday shit, but people relating to it because they do that same thing. So it's like certain people that's gonna connect with you with what you saying through your lyrics. Like
so with kind of branching off of that, like this era of music, like in this, I feel like it's like a clickbait, like very disposable time we live in as far as music is concerned. Am I off on thinking that?
Nah, I feel you.
So I think like there's just so much content, and like studios are easily accessible like to people, and so like what's the biggest difference that you've seen coming from when music was when you were first in the game into to today's world?
I mean, I just feel like it was people like had to super go in from scratch just to like, you know, even how the producer has, you know, evolved and just like more so it's a like collaborative thing. Like people will get loops and samples from other producers, throw drums on it, and then now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, they're the hottest producer because they got the biggest writer or whatever, biggest rapper, biggest whatever on their beat. So it's just like it's a game that just evolves, man, and you gotta just go with it.
I want to talk about that too, man. Like the art of sampling, right? Because I hear I was arguing with one of my mom's friends, and like they were saying like that rap wasn't music because it just samples and it doesn't like, but like I think people look at it the wrong way. Like sampling is taken, for people that don't know, sampling is taking like a snippet or a sound or something from
and making it your own.
Even you make it your own. But I feel like it's one of the only genres. Hip hop is one of the only genres that I think of it like music had a baby, right? And it's like it keeps art forms alive. Like I've literally like checked on songs like that was somebody took a sample from and found out about a whole catalog of artists I never heard from before. And now I get to enjoy that artist. And I feel like your music is heavily sampled, right?
I mean, I go half and half. You know what I'm saying? I do sample and I also play keys. So
is it frowned upon? Like
I mean, maybe, I don't know. But I feel like sampling like adds to the mood immediately. You know what I'm saying? And if you can catch something that has that emotion but is a new take on it, you know what I'm saying? If you flip it or you reverse it, whatever the case is, like just trying to make it your own. Like I feel like that shit is that's what the game was built off.
I do at 100%. It was built off of break beats and sampling.
Exactly.
And right now it's the #1 genre in the world.
Exactly.
So like, I also threw that in with that argument of that old person I was talking to, man. But so like how do you go about like building a song, like building a record? Like what do you start with, or is it just kind of like whatever you're feeling that day?
People like literally ask me that question, and I don't have a specific answer ever. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it could be one line that sparked a whole song, or it could be an idea I had from years ago, just one little 4-bar loop of a piece of music, and I'll just turn that into a whole different thing. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or I might walk in and just start feeling it and literally go from the keys up and just make something that's totally just off the, you know what I'm saying?
So is there something that you've made that's like your favorite?
Man,
I know it's probably hard to ask on the spot.
Yeah, that's a tough one, bro. I mean, shit. Yeah, I don't really got a favorite, bro. A lot of people ask me that question, man, because it's like
you pump out so much.
Shit,
like you have like when you look at your catalog and the things that you've done for people, it's like it's a lot of shit.
Word.
And so like I don't know how you could have a favorite.
Yeah, exactly. That's why when people ask me that question, I kind of freeze up every time because I'm like, I don't know.
I was maybe you did. I just didn't know.
I mean, one of my favorite songs, just because I know like all females that look good, like this song, this Watch and Learn by Arian. That was on her Talk That Talk album. Like I feel like almost every time that song get played in the function, like every female go crazy. So.
Function is a party for people that don't know. It's super Cali right now, man. So was there an artist that that you worked with that you were like not starstruck, but it was like, God damn, I'm in the studio with so and so?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course.
What was your first like moment like that?
My first moment. I mean, the night I had a Linked with Polo at Record Playing, and it was like the Black Eyed Peas came in, Sierra came in. She was doing her shit super heavy back then. Few people walked in. I was just like, damn, like it's like this is really how it go. Like this is what they in here doing. You feel me? So crazy, just like being exposed to the game and seeing people at that level just doing what they do. It's like, okay, I could do this shit.
Right. So that I remember when we first met, like we had a couple deep convos, man, and one of them was like when you meet like other famous like superstars or people or even like heroes that they were heralded in your head.
Matter of fact, just a little bit after that, like probably like sometime in 2007, I had started to work on Tiana Taylor's album back then when she first came out, 16 years old, doing her shit. Right. She was signed to Pharrell. I talked to him on the phone, but then I came to LA and I linked up with him, and that was like one of the times where I was like, wow, like this is like really one of my heroes, like all over, from the fashion to the music to just the styling of the Neptunes and Star Trek, just everything that was something I super just was a fan of.
So Pharrell was your fanboy moment.
Definitely, that was a big one. For sure.
Mine was Kobe.
Oh yeah, 100. I thought you was talking about music.
No. I'm talking about music, but I'm talking about in the sports world.
Okay, for sure. Well, I mean, I met Kobe too, and I felt the same way. Shit, I'm like, I actually took a picture with Hov and Kobe. I think he's the only celebrity that I asked for. Like, they make I get a picture. Like, that's Kobe, man. You got to, bro.
Kobe was. I remember I played it all so cool and so funny because when I took the picture, I sent it to some of my boys, and he was like smiling, like cheesing, and I wasn't. I was trying to be cool, but I was super happy. He was like, "How the hell you not smiling?" And Kobe sitting here smiling, man. It was funny as hell.
Right.
But so as you move it along, man, in your career, is there? Because I remember what I was about to say was we had a couple convos about this shit as you meet your quote unquote like heroes and people that you put up in pedestals in your head, and then you. And you kind of notice the more and more people that you meet, the more and more human they are. And then you realize like celebrities, I always say, man, celebrities, sometimes I feel like are more groupies than groupies, man. You know what I'm saying? Like celebrity, like the diva aspect of being famous, man. I ain't gonna ask you to call anybody out, but do you get that feel in that industry like I do in the sports industry?
I mean, for sure, you know how the game goes. It's fakeness and all type of weirdness everywhere. But I feel like the top of the top people is the coolest. So that make me be like, okay, I want to be like them. I'm not really trying to be on whoever level. Like, I'm trying to be on the top of the top. And I feel like them the coolest motherfuckers. So
what when you think about like what music is to you, like, because music is what I really figured out was like, cause like I'm gonna put out a project here soon just cause I'm in love with music. Everybody loves it, but like,
and this guy can really rap, like not just the typical athlete situation. Like, you really like got a love for music. I could tell.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate
understanding for it.
So just to plug it when it actually drops, Hit Boy actually co-produced one of the records on my project. So I appreciate that, man.
100.
But so when I think about giving people the music that I've made, or if I have like a dope record I want somebody to hear, not everybody processes music the same way I process music. So like,
I don't feel like nobody does, and that's the interesting thing, because it's like, it could be something that you feel super passionate about, or just like think is the best shit ever. You play it for somebody, you don't get that reaction. But then you might play something that you just hooked up in 5 minutes, and that's the one. You feel me? So it's all just subjective, and it's like, it's about that moment as well. You know what I'm saying? Connecting with how that artist is feeling at that time too.
So how do you do that? How do you go about like when artists reach out to you for like records, do they usually say, I want this kind of feel, I want this kind of feel, I want this kind of feel, or they just say, give me something and then I'll either yay or nay it?
Yeah, I think that's the era we in now. It's like, just give me some stuff and just let me go through it and see if I connect with anything.
Right.
Just because I feel like it's so feeling based, you know what I'm saying? Right. So you gotta have something that's moving the room as soon as it come on. Like it's just that time, you know. People want that automatic shit.
Yeah. The state of rap right now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel about the state of rap right now? Because I can tell you how I feel about it, but it doesn't hold as much merit.
I mean, yeah, it does, because you feel me?
I appreciate
You're a music fan.
That's
I feel like
man.
Any music fan should be able to comment on music.
So okay, I'll tell you how I feel about the state of music right now. I feel like it's extremely disposable because of how we have kind of brought it in with the internet. So the internet has changed the game.
Technology 100%. Advancing 100%, even down to what I was saying earlier about just the quality. And now it's like songs that'll blow up with 200 million views and it's not mixed right or whatever the case
is.
The
difference.
100, but it's like that used to matter, but now it's like you can go get fucking however many views or without putting the full effort for the quality in, and it's like that changes the scope of everything.
So does that bother you? Because it bothers me, and I'm not even in the game.
100%. Right. I mean, it don't bother me.
Not to the sense that, because young cats,
exactly.
Young cats, they get an opportunity to get up out of
and that's why technology's supposed to advance. Like, you know, you can make a song easier now. Like, it's like programs coming out that's damn near mixing songs for you and all that. So
really,
you know, just I'm all for what's going on right now, and I'm fucking with it. But it's like you also got the top of the top, like the Kendricks, the J. Cole's, like all these people who really putting their lives into the music and actually bringing out some type of soul with it, you know. But also the turn up music is for what it's for. You feel me? The young people like it. It go up. You feel me? You get liquor in your system and play the songs. You might feel it more than the average.
I feel like you don't feel anything if you drunk, but that's just my. I'm not like I say. I'm not mad at the I don't know if it's like the politically correct term, but the mumble rap generation. I ain't mad at it, but I think that because of the internet, I think the quality of music has taken the back seat. I mean, you said it yourself. Like, there's things with 200 million views that ain't mixed right, and you can tell. So the quality of music is what we were talking about. The quality of music that came from when I was growing up was like vinyls and spinning and things like that. Instrumentation, live bands, things like that. Do you feel like the lack of quality music in that aspect will take away from people's longevity because of how easy it is to make music nowadays?
I mean, it's give and take, you know what I'm saying? I feel like even with the mumble rap, you know what I'm saying, category, I guess you could say, I feel like there are people that's putting, you know, still good melodies and good flows on their shit. So I feel like it is pushing music forward in some sense. And just like now we in like a super festival culture. So like I feel like all the kids is, you know, they got these online followings or whatever the case is, and they making music to cater to them kids that just want to jump up and down. You feel me? That's it's basically like, you know, some rave type shit now.
So is it hard to predict where music will be at?
I think so. You know what I'm saying? Just because being in the game for like 10 years, just seeing it change so many times from then, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's always somebody new coming in and just like shaking it up. So it's like, yes, it's always going to be forever moving.
So as a producer, like part of your job is keeping up with the times.
Definitely.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Just culture-wise, music-wise, sound-wise, feeling-wise, everything has to line up and it has to be, you know, pushed forward.
So how would you describe the era of rap right now as far as like sonically? Like what would you say is the wave?
I feel like we back to an underground era, but it's just more, you know.
When you say underground era, what do you mean by that?
I feel like when, you know, rap first came out, it was a category that people was like, what is this shit? A lot of people that didn't understand it. And now with mumble rap, you know, it's a lot of melodies, it's a lot going on, and it's a lot of cutting edge type of sounds, like stuff that we didn't hear back in the day. So it's like, I feel like it is pushing it forward in its own way.
Right. Do you, because I think, and I could be wrong, did TPain, is he like the godfather of this entire generation's music?
I feel like that definitely he has a piece of the soul just from putting on with the auto tune. So
I don't think he gets enough credit for what he did.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think so either. But you know what I'm saying, a lot of people don't. So it's part of the game. But you know, a lot of people that know they know. You know what I'm saying? But right now, yeah, it's like it made it so much easier. Everything is getting easier. Like I said earlier, like it's like, you know, things that line up algorithms or whatever the case is and can mix a song for you without you barely touching some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like just being put up on all the things that's going on now. Like the game is getting easier, but it's getting harder at the same time.
Right. So things like record labels are kind of becoming obsolete, aren't they?
I feel like, you know what I'm saying, most of the people that's popping got their own movement, whether it was a label involved or not. So, yeah, I definitely think that they're there for what they're there for and how they can help. But I feel like you already got to be popping. You already got to have that fan base.
So what is a record label for now? Because it was for like
bank money. And you know what I'm saying, once you get the ball rolling 60-70%, they gonna put that other 30 in there and then just help you push the shit over the edge, hopefully.
So are they hurting? Or are music companies hurting?
I really don't. I don't know.
Just like if you could like pin it though, like would you say that they are? Because in my eyes, I don't see how they're not. How could you not feel the pinch of? Because this is what technology does. Technology takes away the middleman. Right? And record companies were the middleman from the artist to the people. Yeah. Right? And so now, if I have Instagram, if I have Twitter, I have SoundCloud, and people are feeling me, all I got to do is post it, and then I have a fan base. I can tour off that fan base. I know one of the guys my business manager works with is Hobson. The rapper Hobson, and he's not mainstream. He just has his own following, and he tours
all the time.
Yeah, he's making a great living off of that, and it's just all off of his digital media marketing.
Exactly.
And so, I don't see how record labels could not be feeling that pinch.
There's so many artists and so many genres. There's so many, you know, different types of music, even though, you know, black music is like pretty much the biggest music right now.
Right. It always has been, man.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, like, us just really being the face of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody want Amigos verse or everybody want Uzi on their shit. Whatever the case is, like, us really just being the face of it again. And, you know, the charts, you know, saying that we're dominating the shit. So, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, I don't know.
Do you feel like because I feel disconnected from this era, this generation of rap.
Yeah.
I still rock with a lot of it. Like, you know, I love new music, so it's just not. But like, I don't feel any kind of connection to it like I did with the shit I grew up with. Even the shit that was in the 70s, I felt connected to it. But do you feel disconnected from the era? Like, because you have to be. Like I just said, you have to kind of follow what is in demand from the people. So do you ever feel disconnected and you just make things just to make it?
It's kind of like for me, just trying to incorporate something about the feel of what's going on right now, but keeping it me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, just,
so how do you find that balance?
Trying, just doing. Like, I don't really have a set method for how I lock into whatever I lock into, but it's just like listening to what's going on. Like, I feel like if you just stay in the loop with how music is moving and you just incorporate your own personal style to it, then it'll blossom into what it needs to be.
Right. So when you when you get requests for beats, or is there times where you'll give them something and they're like, nah, I'm not feeling that. What else do you have? Or do you just like, or is there times where you just change the entire structure of the song and keep like a melody? It's like
every which way.
You've seen it all ways.
I've started, like I said earlier, like I could start with a 2-bar, 4-bar just melody, whether it's a piano or just a synth, whatever the case is, and turn that into a whole different thing. Or I could start with one line that turns into a whole song of just like full of lyrics, like, you know. I don't know.
Fruity Loops, and you saying that made me think of this, man. Fruity Loops, like when I first started messing with and Fruity Loops it's a beat program that you use, right?
Yeah.
It to me was like one of the easiest programs to try to learn, and I had no idea how. Like when I found out you use Fruity Loops, I fucking flipped because I was like, yo, that was how I was first introduced to music. Was Fruity Loops.
No, me too. Well, like for me personally, making beats, Acid Pro FL Studio. That was it. FL Studio 3.5.
Yeah.
Way back in the day.
Yeah. I used Acid too, man. So it's funny that like some of your humble beginnings was my humble beginnings in music. And I'm not saying I'm in music, I'm just saying like when I first started out, like even getting introduced to it, I think that's what the beauty of like what we were talking about, technology is
advancing.
It's taking, it's allowing kids to express themselves artistically. And that's one of the things I want to talk to you about was like it, like nowadays there's a formula for success in the music game to an extent, and I want to talk to you about branding because I feel like your branding is so dope. Your the way you brand, like whether it be like even a single or just like your Instagram page, and how do you go about branding yourself to an audience?
Honestly, that's what I feel like is my disconnect. You know what I'm
Really?
saying? Like, I feel like people don't connect even, songs I've produced with my name sometimes or my face, whatever, or my face to my name. And that's what I hear a lot. A lot of people will be like, I know the name Hit Boy, but I never know what you look like. Even though I've put videos out, I've done beat making videos, I've done different little shit. But I feel like for me, it's all just come natural, man. Like every time I try to come with too much of a formulated plan or this is how should be, like this is how it should be, whatever the case is, I don't feel like it works out for the best for me. But when I just do shit that I literally feel, whether it's a beat, whether it's me approving some artwork, whatever the case is, I'm just literally just day by day just like making the best decisions.
So like those songs where whether it be a hit or not hit or if it's on somebody's record, producers that put their names on every single song, like with like Mustard on the beat or whatever the case may be. Why don't you do that? Is that just like not a?
I started off doing that, but I just kind of took the tags off in just being in the studio with Kanye, and he blurts out a lot of random shit, and he was like, man, beat tags is corny, like, you feel me? So I mean, I looked up to him so heavy. I'm like, well shit, if he's saying it, then fuck that. But then the next year, Mustard and Metro and all these niggas start like going to get all this crazy festival money off having their names on their shit. So it's like, you just gotta gauge the game for how you see it at the time, man. Just,
so Kanye was a big influence on how you rocked marketing wise.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that, but just for that particular thing, like I just remember him saying like beat tags is corny, so and I took that to heart.
Right. So what was that like working with Kanye? I don't know if you want to talk about Kanye, man, but
I mean, working with Kanye, that was a good time, man. Just being challenged to the max every day, like no time for slacking. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's all go, and you got to be at your best, level when you're around him. So I feel like that's a thing that pushes you to be great.
Right. So that was when you were with Good Music, correct?
Yeah.
Good Music. When you are maneuvering and trying to find your own lane, trying to find your own sound, how do you gauge like that old saying, take the meat and discard the bone? Like how do you gauge something like Kanye saying beat tags is corny, and he probably said some other things that you probably didn't rock with, but like when one of your mentors are telling you things and how to move in this game, how do you know whether to take it for
like literal?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know. I just feel like you take it situation by situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like I took that shit overly serious. Right. I mean, I just stopped really just trying to do the beat tag thing for real. But I don't know. I just feel like you just take each situation as it comes and try to learn and take, even if it's just a piece of what somebody says, like just implement that into how you think and, something that's going to help you go to the next level. You got
any regrets in the game?
I mean, I definitely feel like I never got to pick my own team in the game, you know what I'm saying? Like from when I got signed, like I just kind of got handed my whole infrastructure, my manager, my business manager, and all these things. I feel like I didn't have a point to build with these people, you know what I'm saying? It was just like business being done, but no real foundation, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I just wish from day one I had that part of the game more planned out, understood better.
Is there a So you felt like you were kind of like a cog in the industry wheel, and you were just kind of a piece of it rather than.
I mean, just as far as for my own personal team, like I just don't feel like I never feel like I had a focused in like squad, like we about to go hard for Hit Boy. You know what I'm saying? I was always kind of working with somebody who was bigger than me at the time or whatever the case is, so that focus was there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like just, I don't know, I just feel like I should have had my own vision like super a long time ago, even on the business side.
Right. So moving forward, how do you change that?
Be on top of everything. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I make every call. I'm up at 6 a.m. with lawyers, A&Rs, you know what I'm saying? All this shit that I don't really want to do, but it's like versus hiring somebody who could possibly miscommunicate some shit for you and have you even more frustrated. Right. I'd rather just sacrifice and only sleep for a few hours a day and try to be creative and also hustle my ass off. You know what I'm saying? So,
man, I do want to get into that a little bit, man, like the industry side of music. Because, like, I remember we used to have conversations, like, when you like if you watch football, if you watch basketball, like you just enjoy the sport. Yeah. But like it's the
nuances.
There's the back end shit that I fucking hate. That I got sick of. There's the business side. There's a whole bunch of shit. Like so, I want to kind of dig into like what is like some industry stuff in the music game that's like pushing you to the edge, and you know what I mean?
I mean, just. It could get real deep, bro.
Yeah, I don't want you to air anybody out on this, man. That's not this party, man.
This is an interesting area, but I feel like you gotta move real stealth, man. Don't give up too much information, but just try to just mutate into every room that you in. You know what I'm saying, and don't overly be one certain way all the time. Like sometimes you gotta just sit back and just absorb and just learn and shit versus I feel like you can sometimes make enemies without trying to make enemies. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying at all, but people just end up having feelings towards you.
Like just on some competition type shit?
100. I feel like it do boil down to that because, I got friends that direct, I got friends that produce, I got friends that do all types of shit, and I feel like everybody that's in the same field is always I'm better than that nigga, or this shit he put out, I got something that's better than that. It's always like some type of competition in there. So you gotta, just be a little stealth when you're moving through the game.
So how you navigate that? Like, because you're a humble cat, right? Like, that was part of my problem.
I've had to eat a lot of bullets, man. I'm gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of ins and outs that niggas don't know about. A lot of, I see a lot of shit on Twitter like, damn, where Hit Boy been? You feel me? But like, nigga, every year I'm doing my shit. Like everybody last project from Travis to Rihanna to Beyonce, I was on all 8 projects. You feel me? I did a song, I did the Feeling Myself shit for Nicki Minaj and Beyonce, and also the Flawless remix with 2 Nicki and Beyonce placements in 1 year. I didn't get no press off that shit. You feel me? I ain't get no magazine. I ain't get no, you feel me? Like, so it's like, well, I mean, if that's the case, then you got to figure out a way that's going to help your shit connect to the people.
So how do you do that without, because like
I don't know.
Like that's not,
I really don't know, bro. Like, and at this point, like I've just kind of giving myself back to just the game and just as far as just the creativity part of it. Right. I'm trying to just excite myself through that. You know what I'm saying? Because the game go how it go, bro. The game is real interesting, man, and just you just gotta learn as much as you can and just keep implementing. But I feel like when I'm making a song and that shit got me up, 7 in the morning, and I'm dolo and I'm jumping up and down in the studio, I'm like, this is what I do this shit for. The money, that shit gonna come and go. The relationships, the all type of nuances of the game is gonna come and go. But stay locked in on that music and keep giving yourself that feeling. You just like, it's sometimes where it's like, I don't want to do this shit, you know what I'm saying? But then I end up like, if I'm gonna push it, I'm gonna make a beat or I'm gonna write a song, and it's like, by the time you know it, I'm jumping up and down like, this shit hard. So it's like sticking to that for me personally.
No, I know. I mean, I think it's just crazy to hear that from somebody who's had as much success in the industry that you have, is that like the same kind of frustrations I had about my craft is the same kind of that you have. The glitz and the glamour of it, like there's real frustration and there's real sharky people when it comes to business, man.
It's sick, bro.
And that's
sick.
Yeah, and that was part of my downfall, is like, we live in a weird fucking time, man, where like if you choose not to take part in a lot of the bullshit, and it's like acting almost, man. Like it's like acting, and people can label that as arrogance. Like, so I'm humble enough to be like, that's not me. Yeah. But people look at that and say he's arrogant because he doesn't want to. He's doing his own thing. Like I had to deal with that shit, and I feel like the humility is part of the reason why you struggle with the notoriety that you have. Is because you're really humble.
For sure.
Right.
I mean, I hear that often. I have homies like, man, you need to go harder on social media. And I'm like, nigga, I got discovered on social media. Like, I've made checks. I've done a lot of shit that, like, is a part of the history books and music through social media. So it's like, I'm not finna have a camera in my face all day. I'm not finna do a lot of shit.
It's fucking corny, right? So, like,
that's just like, not me.
Dog, it's corny, man. For me, right? So, like, and this is how I gauge.
Like, how you niggas be so serious talking to y'all phone? Like, I just don't get it.
Like, dog, like, so,
but that, you know what I'm saying? You got niggas like, that works for.
That's the part I'm talking about. Where, like, I feel like it's just an act, and when you see, like, if you walking down the street and then you see somebody holding a phone up and they just kind of going like this, and you're just looking at it like, that's fucking corny. Yeah. Like, it's pretty corny. But when how it comes through on camera is very genuine, and I deal with that shit all the time. Like, in my industry, it's like people do things for cameras to seem genuine, and they're not. And it's crazy to me that's the dichotomy that we have. Is like humility is looked at as arrogance.
This is what y'all believe in.
Yeah.
This is what's getting 423,000 likes on Instagram.
That's what I'm saying.
This nigga's not doing nothing to help push us forward, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Giving us a laugh for the moment.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, man, that's like life, bro. This like the game has taught me a lot about life, bro, and how this shit work, and how people really don't give a fuck, and people really don't know shit.
No, my very last podcast, I said that people are generally full of shit and generally not good people, man. So, like, the simple fact of, like, you see a World Star video or something like that of two niggas fighting or something like that, and it gets millions upon millions of views, and like a video of somebody helping somebody, whatever, doesn't get any traction because the people want blood. Like, I don't understand this shit.
People are attracted to negative shit. People are attracted to, like, it's funny, like, I'm gonna just bring this up, and this is something I don't even, but it's like one time I was frustrated by the game, and some little shit that happened, some personal shit. So I tweeted, I'm like, yo, I'm retired from this music shit.
I remember that.
Every motherfucking blog, everybody was texting me. Every blog took this shit so serious, bro. Right. And I'm like, nigga, I've been putting tapes out, music out. Right. You motherfuckers ain't posting that shit. Wow. But I say one little bullshit tweet because I was pissed at the moment. Right. You feel me? And that's what you niggas fed into. So it's like, I just did shit with Beyonce and Nicki. Nigga, I just did X, Y, and Z. Right. Y'all ain't talking about that. Right. You feel me? But y'all would talk about this. So it's like, the game is it's just interesting, bro.
That shit's crazy. I remember hearing something about I think it was Joe Budden on his last podcast. He was talking about how his label told him to fake a relationship with somebody for PR. Yeah. And that's fucking bananas.
I feel like it's a lot of that cracking right now.
That's wild to me. That's so fucking wild to me. So people will really, it's acting. It's straight acting.
I mean, I don't want to come on here and just like be bashing the game and
man,
shit.
Fuck that.
But
it's not about. It's not bashing. Like, it's not bashing the game. What it is being honest. Like, it's
for sure.
There's a formula to be successful in every industry, and part of that formula in music,
it's some faking. It's definitely some faking going on. You feel me? It's like, man, this shit can get real deep, bro. Yeah. You feel me? I'm trying to
I'm saying, no. You don't gotta air nobody out, man. I'll take all the.
No, I ain't trying to even air nobody out, but just like, you know, personal shit that I've lived through, and I'm like, damn, like I did this, and this, and you niggas X me out, but then this motherfucker come in. It's deep, bro.
I'm with you, man.
It's deep,
I'm with you because it's frustrating. I mean, there's shit that I could say.
Some shit just don't add up to me. You know what I'm saying? Right. It just kind of go back to it feeling like it's a personal situation. Right. It's not like, You know, it's a motherfucker that'll be like, bro, I think you dope as fuck. I think you got the power to change the game, but then won't fuck with you because of some personal shit.
Politics, man.
Yeah, it's sick.
Super politics. So when you going throughout like your career trying to be as humble and a good human being as possible, and you turn around and that
you still end up looking like the motherfucking enemy, bro, and like the devil at the end of the day. So it's like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
So how you find that balance?
Bro, I'm good, my nigga. Like I just went to the little hunted hayride with my mom. She just had her little surgery. Man. I'm on some regular life shit, nigga, and I'm making the best music of my life. So I'm gonna let that shit go where it's supposed to go, bro.
So you bring up your moms, man. We had some technical difficulties earlier, so it didn't record, man. But I definitely want to touch on this, man. You have a father that was in and out of prison, correct?
Right.
And I think and it's not to bring up any any bad memories, man. But I think it's important for people that look like you, that are successful, and people that look like me, to talk about some of these issues because it plagues our communities.
Definitely.
And that's having a household that's fatherless, and whether it be jail or whether cats just walk out on the kids.
Yeah.
I think it's a big reason why our people are in the conditions that they're in today, and we can get into the semantics of
exactly
why all day.
Why it's been designed that way, X, Y, and Z. No,
that's a whole nother conversation. But I just want to ask you about how it affected you growing up, and like what kind of relationship did you have with him?
I mean, I had as much as of a relationship as I could have with my pops. Just, I would always go see him, write him letters, you know what I'm saying, chop it, especially about the music shit. Once I started doing that, he was heavily supporting, sending me raps, just always encouraging me to just be on it.
Right.
And so, like I just building with him, and for him to actually get out years later, and for us to have, talked about music for so long and doing it, and just me having a situation where I could get some type of notoriety for that bond, you know what I'm saying, and just also make a song that people enjoy.
Right.
You feel me?
The song you're talking about is Grinding My Whole Life. His dad is on that song.
Exactly. So just like, I just saw how real motherfuckers in the streets, like real rappers that I respect, that we all respect, would come up to me like, yo, Pop's the realest nigga in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel him.
You
feel me? From one verse, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, that had me super excited about just the things that we was trying to build. And then, real life gets involved again, you know what I'm saying? It's like I said, everything I do, I try to keep it 100. Every bar I spit, every beat I make, I just try to keep it authentic. And the same with him. So, that thugging that he's on, that shit is really real, you know what I'm saying? He backed down again, but we just praying for the best.
Right. So I mean, is there any kind of like frustration like within?
1000%. It's hella. That shit is. I mean, when he got knocked again, that definitely was like, wow, like we really got all this way for you know what I'm saying, shit to go back to how it was, and it's like the game go how it go, man. You know what I'm saying?
For
shit is deep.
Sure. So you see your pops in and out of prison, man. So like, what kind of woman is your mother, man? Because to raise a man,
super strong, man. We got like a real friendship type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like super close, talk about any and everything, and just just super supportive of each other, I guess you could say. You know what I'm saying? Everything I've ever done from the music, like she's the reason for me really going hard with the music, because she was encouraging me, you know what I'm saying? All my homies' moms and parents was like, you definitely ain't making music in my household.
That's crazy.
And my mom was like, as long as you in the crib, you good, you know what I'm saying? So
there's a lot more stuff you could have been doing.
Exactly. And also I wanted to touch on when we talked about just my move from, Pasadena, like all the LA areas, to going to San Bernardino and shit.
Right.
And, a lot of that was around the time where people I grew up with the most, was hanging with the most from elementary. They start banging, they start doing X, Y, and Z, and just getting fucked up in the game. So I'm glad I moved out the way. I'm glad I just was able to just focus, and I ain't have that much going on in San Bernardino back in what was that? 03, something like that.
Yeah. Youngin. Babyface.
2000.
Yeah, no, for real. Cause I mean, I was I grew up with my mother. I grew up with both my parents, but they divorced, and I was midway in high school, and my father had been gone for probably like 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
And I was doing stupid shit, like stupid shit. I was ditching class, I was smoking, I was drinking, young stupid shit. Didn't care about much, and then. You know, my mom, she's doing the best she can. We're struggling, but she's like, "Yo, go live with your father," and that shit changed my life. So like, to touch on what you said, like moving when you in those circumstances could be the best thing ever.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Even if at that time, like that shit, I still remember like walking to school dolo every day. I'm like, I ain't got no homies out here. I don't really know motherfuckers like that. But you adapt as time goes by.
Right. So, growing up in Southern California, man. How much? I mean, I don't say how much, but just talk about the influence of the West Coast in your music and in rap in general.
I mean, definitely, like I said, listening to NWA, Ice Cube, Snoop. Like I used to run the Murder Was the Case tape like all the time on VHS, just watching that shit over and over, and just being a fan of it, hearing it on the radio, whatever the case was, like. It still influences me. Like every piece of music I make, probably every beat, I'm like, damn, would Dre be proud of this? You know what I'm saying? Like
that's dope.
Every song I write, I'm like, would certain people be proud of this? Would Snoop be proud of this? So it's just like trying to go my hardest. But just as far as the Cali connection, like it's I'm a laid back motherfucker in general. So like the Cali-ness definitely adds that to it.
All right. So you when you look at music today, especially in the rap game, it's weird now because it's not like when we grew up. When we grew up, it was extremely regional, right? So like you were from where you from, and that region had a sound, right? It's not like that so much more because the internet has connected everybody.
Exactly.
So like, where do you? I mean, like you said earlier, it's hard to predict the future, but like, what do you think the future of like West Coast rap is?
I mean, I feel like we in it right now, like with. Kendrick dropping shit like Humble, that's kind of like a southern beat, you feel me? But all the lingo, all the swag is like super Cali on it, so it just brings the situation together, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like we always gonna keep it us, but just keeping it relevant musically, like I talked about earlier, just like having some type of element that is implemented in the culture right now, but just putting your own spin on it.
Do you have anything in the chamber, man, or any music in the chamber that's like you feel like people ain't ready for? Like, cause I know geniuses like yourself, man. They move strategically.
I make a lot of pieces of music, man. I kind of let everything come together organic. It's not that I might not be ready for it. You know what I'm saying? More so than the next person. It's just like. It's how I'm feeling at that moment, and every project that I put together, it comes together organic. Like I'm not just like, oh, I gotta make this song about this song. This has to fit with this. It's like I'm gonna make some tight shit and just put it together and see how I feel.
Man, I'm your biggest fan, bro. I swear, you probably get sick of me saying that shit, man. But it's the truth, man.
That's love, bro.
I'll let you plug anything you want to plug, man. You got
man, $500,000, HS87 still pushing as always, man. Hit Boy still pushing as always. So just be on the lookout, man. Courtesy of $500,000 album coming in November.
And where can they get it?
That's gonna be everywhere. You feel me? Spotify, iTunes, a whole. You feel me? Get out, and then also my own solo shit, production tape, a lot of dope, musical pieces, man.
No, for sure, y'all make sure to go check him out, man. Like I appreciate you coming through, man. I know you
appreciate you having me.
No, man.
I'm gonna head to a session right now.
Yeah,
so
no, for sure, man. So I appreciate you carving out some time to speak with me, man. We always end the podcast the same way, right? And we end it like this, man, because it's being filmed, man. So I want you to look in the camera and I want you to try to convince Jim Carrey to come on the podcast, man. That's my guy. That's my guy.
Jim Carrey, I've been fucking with you since In Living Color. Fire Marshal Bill, man. I know about Fire Marshal Bill. You got to come fuck with the realest, man. Arian Foster.
For sure, man. Well, shit, man. We appreciate you coming through, bro. And it's always love, man. So we'll rock like that, bro.
I do.
Much love, baby.
Yes, sir.